Good evening and welcome to another run of The Between. This is session 9, I think, of our ongoing series of The Between. This is a PBTA game of Victorian monster hunters in Gothic London. This game is by Joseph Cordova. It's published by the Gauntlet, and this game is also arranged via the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group which gets together to play games like this. We have a gaming calendar where you can sign up to play games. We have a gaming magazine called Codex. We have podcasts and some other games that we publish as well, such as this one. If you want to find information on any of that stuff, you can go to gauntlet-rpg.com and read more about it there. My name is David. I use he, him pronouns. And as we kick things off tonight, I will ask our players to introduce themselves, tell us a bit about who they're playing, any memories they have of last time we played. It has been 2 weeks since we last played. Oh, well, there's been a week in between sessions, so do not worry. If you are feeling a little lost, we will pick things up in a moment. But yeah, David, if I can ask you to start, please.
Yeah, hi folks, I'm David, he, him pronouns, and I am playing the American playbook in the form of Trixie. And from last time, my major recollection is that we took down the creature of Craymorn Gardens and just killed off this siren, eliminated that threat, and I believe we've done a fair bit of progress as well on the Sally No Face mystery as well, if I recall correctly.
Yep, that sounds about right. Excuse me, sorry. No, but that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Sabine, if you'd like to introduce yourself and again, any thing about your character, any recollections from last time. Oh, sorry, you're muted there.
That's terrible. I was speaking English so well, and now I lost the thread. So anyway, my name's Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm playing Dr. John Fenworth, who is used another playbook. Last time, besides stabbing the siren with his sword cane, he also well performed a sort of operation on this young pianist who didn't play the piano as well as his hands merited. So those hands are going to someone who will do them more justice. That is fine, right? He has the condition of guilty appropriately.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Anders, if you'd like to introduce yourself and who you're playing tonight.
Yeah, I'm Anders, he, him. I'm playing Ardent Casebury, the vessel, also he, him. And yeah, most of what happened last time has been mentioned. Ardent currently has the conditions rattled and indebted to the Thames, which is probably going to be fine.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you. So, yeah, as I said, where we as has just been mentioned, we resolved the creature of Craymorn Gardens last time, so that is now neutralized. We have the Sally No Face killer is still out and about. We have a few clues for Sally No Face, mostly I believe gathered by the good doctor, which is that the most recent victim, Clara Yarborough, was killed by oleander poisoning, and there was a smudge of rouge on the colour of the clothing that she was wearing that seemed quite upmarket and stuff, if memory serves. Probably a little finer than she might normally have worn, and obviously her face itself was missing, as is the signature of the Sally No Face killer. Dr. Fenworth had rumours of a house in an upmarket area that is lit at night, but no one is ever seen coming or going. And Dr. Fenworth also deduced or believes that the killer is obsessed with finding the perfect face. And that might be one of the motivations behind their rampage. Last time we did also introduce our oh yes, that's right, we do have a couple of Janus masks to pick up on because we were running a bit tight on time last time, so we'll go through those and do that in a moment. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, so we did also last time introduce a new active threat, though little work's actually been done on it yet, as the focus was on closing out the creature of Cremon Gardens last time. So I'll do a slightly more in-depth recap on the St. Petersburg Mirror. So essentially, Edwin Belmont, who is a civil servant working in the on the Afghan desk at the India office, came to meet with Casebury in specific, but to enlist Hargrave House's help in general. Edwin has been blackmailed by persons unknown, though he did recently visit a spiritualist medium called Madame Seraphima Sorokin, who is conducting seances and the like in London. And Edwin believes that she may be in some way linked to this blackmail case. You know that Madame Seraphima Sorokin has a seance parlor in the East End of London where people can visit her for readings and the like. And you're also aware that she as well does kind of like invitations to fancy houses and the like to perform seances there, and she is due to have a reading at the house of Lady Clara Cadwallader, a widowed lady who likewise has interests in the spiritual world. So that's also another potential opportunity for finding out more about her or finding where she might be. The questions that you have for this, there are 4 questions in total. The first one, oh yes, the other important point, which I didn't bring in that recap, is that on top of everything else, you are aware that she has recently been gifted an artifact known as the St. Petersburg Mirror, which is rumored to be a powerful scrying device that was gifted to her by the cultural attaché, the Russian cultural attaché. The questions and opportunities for this particular threat are either: what trickery and deceit does Madame Sorokin deploy in order to dupe those who come to her parlor? That is a complexity 4 question, and that will allow you to resolve the threat by exposing Madame Sorokin as a fraud and discrediting her in the public eye, reducing the risk that she will be able to find further victims. The second question is: who is truly behind the blackmail ring, and how are they using Madame Sorokin as a pawn in their game? And this will give you the opportunity to resolve the threat by dealing with the power behind Madame Sorokin. If Hargrave House feel Madame Sorokin is useful, they may be able to recruit her to their cause. And that is a complexity 4 as well. The third question is: how do you know that not only is Madame Sorokin a true psychic, but currently is only using a small portion of her potential, and given time, what can she achieve? And that gives you the opportunity to resolve the threat by bringing Madame Sorokin under control, whether through force, magic, or reason. Approach carefully. She could be an asset, but she might be too dangerous to handle. That's complexity 6. There's also one final question, which is a complexity 2 question, which is to work out if the St. Petersburg Mirror is genuine or not. And if it is genuine, it will be available as a reward if you're able to get your hands on it. So that's kind of the threat. They're obviously the first 3 are all resolve threat ones, so really only one of those needs to be answered. The 4th question is sort of an optional one if you want that extra reward. So before we get into our flashbacks from last time, I will introduce our newest threat. This threat is going to be the West End Wraith. So, the Palais de Gaiety is a popular music hall in the West End, providing an evening of drinks and entertainment for working-class Londoners and the odd group of more well-heeled patrons slumming it in private boxes. There has recently been a string of unusual activity: gifts left in locked rooms, personal items of little monetary value missing, odd graffitied poetry in all but inaccessible places, and several near-miss accidents affecting both patrons and staff. Superstitious performers whisper of a haunting, attributing the activity to the West End Wraith. Lady Pipewell, or Billy Bowman, is the rising star of the Palais and fears that they are the target of an obsessive fan. And finally, the manager, Miss Lily de Vere, is concerned for the safety of her staff and patrons, but wary of spreading panic. And she has approached Hargrave House for a discreet investigation. So I am going to ask Trixie, how did you first meet Lily de Vere's parents, and what tale of your exploits did they share with their daughter? And why do you still harbour a lingering suspicion that their deaths were not all they seemed?
And Lily is, you said
the owner and manager of the music hall.
Okay, and the question is, how did I meet her parents?
Yep, that's right.
And why do I suspect that their deaths were less than coincidental? Okay.
Yep.
I imagine that I actually know Lily through her parents originally. I don't know Lily that well, but I know her parents somewhat well because perhaps they formerly were the, at least had a hand in owning or operating the music hall. Since they have died, Lily has taken full operative control of it, but maybe they originally were at least a big part of the owners and operators, and maybe I was at least in the kind of possible, we're thinking about at stages of taking on some kind of job with them because I'm something of a theatric myself, at least in my former life. And before that could get off the ground, they kind of died off. And maybe one of the coincidental things could be that because the parents died so suddenly, and because it was so convenient for Lily, the music hall fell into her control. I have some suspicions that Lily actually had a hand in killing her own parents.
Interesting. And the other part of that question as well was, what tale of your exploits did Lily's parents share with her?
Oh, tale of my exploits.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine that her parents quite liked me and shared with her all these tales of me bandying about, going on adventures and navigating whitewater rapids down out west in America, and also having something of a singing voice myself. I had kind of a little sideshow that I did when I was traveling about that was it had some musical bits to it as well.
Perfect. And so the questions and opportunities for this, I have added all this stuff to the threat sheet as well, by the way, just in being unusually surprised. Unusually prepared, surprisingly. So yeah, the first question, and this one is a kind of a branching question, is in two parts. So the question is Lily de Vere or Billy Bowman the target of the Wraith's obsession? And does the Wraith seek to either help or harm them? And that is a complexity 2 question. The important part for the branching there is sort of whether ultimately the Wraith is looking out for the best interests of their target, or trying to bring them to harm. The second question is, if the Wraith seeks to harm them, what motivates their obsessive pursuit of their target? That's a complexity 4 question, and that will allow you to resolve the threat by tracking the Wraith to their lair for a final confrontation, to either kill or capture them. And the third question is, if the Wraith seeks to help, are they trying to protect their target from an imminent danger? If the Wraith seeks to help, are they trying to protect their target from an imminent danger or right an old wrong. And that's a complexity 6 question. And that will allow you to resolve the threat by either sort of neutralizing the harm or righting the wrong to the wraith's target, or otherwise dissuading the wraith from going through with their plans. There are also 2 masks available for this particular threat, which are the mask of comedy and tragedy. So, yeah, that is the West End Wraith. But yeah, before we get into the rest of our daytime actions, I think we will pick up on some of the Janus mask prompts that we had from last time. You will have to forgive me. I cannot recall myself which ones we had answered and which ones we hadn't. So I'll just go around and ask for people to narrate any that they feel are still owing to the group. So yeah, I'll come back around to I'll start. Dr. Fenworth, if you would, I think you had.
I've marked 2.
2, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yes, the first one is narrate a flashback to the time you had a terrible fight with the person you lost. So we see this is sort of, I think it's kind of a celebration of the upper crust, of the people who are art aficionados, people, opera goers and stuff like that. And John has been talking to an impresionario or something, some kind of one of the director, that's the word, the director of the opera, and they have come to a very amenable, it's clear that they have come to a very amenable understanding, and that the director goes off to Adam to talk to him, and you can see that Adam is not very much in love with whatever the director is telling him, and is mostly a bit dismissive. No, not a bit. He's dismissive of the whole suggestion. He is arguing that apparently he doesn't want to do whatever the director is suggesting, and that gets a bit louder when Adam starts to yell that he had it with these classical boring roles where he's always got to be the hero and die tragically. He wants to do something a little more fun this time, and you can see in John's face like this disillusion and this disenchantment, this what is he saying? No, that can't be right. And he shoots daggers with his eyes at the director, and the director is like, what can I do? And still like and then that ends with the director telling Adam, like, we're doing this now because that's what the money we have money for. We don't have money for whatever you want to do. And Adam storms off, quite incensed, and John is like relieved, but also a bit uncomfortable with the outcome of this scene.
Awesome, thank you very much. And I'll come back to you for your second one in a moment. So yeah, Ardent, did you have any Janus masks to fulfill?
Yeah, I have my second mask to pass. Narrate a flashback to your childhood that shows the first time you encountered a dark entity. And as I recall, I had previously described an event when Ardent was maybe, I don't remember what I said at the time, 5 or 6, and his mother didn't have time to read a story for him, so someone else was flipping the pages. So I think this is before that. I think he's in a crib or something. He's maybe 2 years old. He's been put there because his parents doesn't have time for him just at the moment. And he spots something he doesn't quite understand, like up in a dark corner of the room. He sees something moving, and he points to it and tries to get his parents' attention, but they don't see anything. And then when he continues to point and try to talk to them, he's not a great talker at 2 years old. He can say a few words, but he can't explain what he's seeing, and they don't show any interest. and he's not exactly frightened. It's something strange, but he's not afraid of it. Yeah.
Awesome, that's perfect. Thank you very much. Trixie, did you have one as well?
I've just got one real
Yep.
quick. It just says narrate a flashback to the time after you finally went west that shows you happy and free. And to put a long story short, it's just going to be a shot of me on horseback or riding southbound at a very rapid pace down the Great Plains of America. It would be through what we would now call Oklahoma, but at that point in history was referred to simply as Indian Territory. We were going southbound down to Texas to do another stop on our road show with the kind of band of freaks and misfits that I had fallen in with. And I remember looking out across the Great Plains at all the sagebrush and buffalo and thinking to myself that it was so nice not to be around a city anymore. There's not all these people around. It has this nice solitude to it. And then this, of course, will contrast sternly with Trixie's current arrangements as we start the session with wherever we are.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And yeah, Dr. Fenworth, your final one, if you would.
Yeah, I think this is. Let me see where this is. Oh yes, this is outside of, I think, Manor or something. It's in the city. It's a city place, so where rich people live. It's very upper crust, and you see that there is apparently a sort of, a group of people who are chanting and having fun, and they are laughing, and they are clearly inebriated. And Adam is with them, and he's singing a very lewd song, to the immense delight of his listeners, one of the bar one, because this is when Dr. John Fenworth, he didn't, it's clear that he didn't expect this. He comes around the corner and sees this group of people having such a lower class sort of fun almost. I think he's a snob. Dear John, you're a snob. And he sees Adam sing this bawdry song, and some of the others are falling in and they're doing the chorus, and so they are all clearly having fun, and they're all pretty good singers, but still it's kind of like John looks at them and like, who are you? You are not that is not who you are. This uncouth drunk yodeling in the streets, this can't be you. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you very much. Cool. So yeah, we'll begin our day phase proper now. So as ever, this is your opportunity to go into any scenes that you may want to see, launch your own investigations, spend time with one another, or whatever else you feel like getting up to. So I'll just check in with people. Trixie, do you have any particular thoughts on what you might like to look into or get up to during the day phase today?
Well, I'm just kind of plotting out in my head what we can realistically get done in 3 sessions. And so I'm thinking about kind of what threats would be good to follow up on. St. Petersburg Mirror and West End Wraith are both about as easy as the next ones to do. And we've already got so much progress done on Sally No Face. I think we can kind of go wherever. I just wanted to put the question out to the other players. Are there any threats that you folks are especially keen on investigating? I know, John, you've got Sally No Face, as you've mentioned before, but I was curious, Ardent, is there anything that you really want to hit on, and maybe we can kind of team up on it so we aren't spreading our clues out too thinly?
No, I could go either way. It would be, I'd like to resolve Sally No Face, even if I haven't been involved in it. But otherwise, not really. I'd be fine with taking a shortcut on one of the other two and try to resolve it quickly. I think probably the mirror is best for that, since you can just do it with one question if you want, I think. But no, I'm fine going for any of them.
I like mirror. We may be able to requisition it as a reward if we want to go for that complexity 2 question at the bottom, but otherwise it's a quick one and done kind of thing. And if we can get that and Sally No Face done, who knows, we may have some time left to at least take a crack at the Wraith before December rolls around. So in that case, maybe I would like to do some mirror investigation. Now this is going to be tough for me because it's far from my forte. I'm afraid this one's going to be a high sensitivity, high reason kind of mystery. But yeah, I think let's just kind of start with, maybe I'll do some creeping about. Madam, is it Sorokin?
That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, more or less.
That's the pronunciation.
Yeah, that's more or less how I pronounce it. I'm not sure whether that's right or not.
I just call her that fortune-telling lady. I'll see if I can maybe do some snooping about her parlor. I think for me it might be helpful if we could maybe you and me, Ardent, kind of team up, and one of us takes kind of more the I don't know, I'm trying to look at our respective strengths, but for me I feel like it would be a lot of kind of creeping around in the behind the scenes areas that are restricted, trying to find some clues that are expose her as a fraud perhaps. And I don't know if maybe Ardent could provide some cover.
Can I ask something, because you've done a lot of stuff with Ardent? But I think the last 2 mysteries was only Trixie and Ardent. I would like to have someone help me out with Sally No Face, because we're nowhere near finishing this if we don't want to go for the first one. I would like to do more than the first one, actually, if that's cool with everybody. So that's just
Absolutely.
I would like to have somebody come either with me to that house where that poor washerwoman was taken. I think she was your acquaintance, Ardent. Isn't that true? Wasn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
maybe maybe we can get a little stuff done there, because I don't want to be the lone person who does his own thing and you do everything else. I feel that is kind of I don't know. I feel kind of left out. I want to have scenes with one of you at least.
No, that's absolutely fine.
If that's okay,
Yeah,
David,
yeah.
with you, David.
No.
Absolutely, yeah. Either one or both of us would be happy to accompany.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And as ever, like we can be fairly loose with what you get up to during the day phase anyway. So I mean, if you want to like meet up and split up and go and do different things in different places, that's all fine. You know, the daytime is the time for you to kind of strike out and do what you fancy doing. So yeah, absolutely. Don't feel like it just has to be like one thing that you do or whatever. We can meld in and out, and that's absolutely fine. Mostly it's just to kind of get a gauge for what people are interested in looking into or doing, John, or whatever else.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, David. I was
okay.
just asking, John, what are your plans for the day?
I think I want to go and see where that washerwoman was and what's to find there, even though we might have to return in the night because of the lights, but still maybe somebody saw something or we can find something. I wonder if I want to have a vulnerable scene, and I also, of course, want to go back to the mortuary, because the thing is, the stuff that I have, it won't keep forever. Even though it's in a solution and there's electrical currents running through it, it won't keep forever. I need more. I maybe need to be less
picky.
Special, picky. Thank you. Less picky about what I mean. Guts. Basically, they have to be healthy, right? And that's it. And it can't be that hard to find somebody who died because somebody's bashed his head in and his guts are so healthy. And feet also, I mean, I've never seen Adam's feet, so pretty much they shouldn't be too large. It's something like that. I really feel. So that I want to do the Sally No Face thing, and then I want to do the child thing, and if I can get a vulnerable scene into this, I would be very happy to get rid of guilty or riddle, or I think we have rattle and tipsy rattling around here. So
Yeah, no, that sounds
Well,
good.
if you'd like accompaniment on the Sally No Face mystery, I'd be happy to. But otherwise, I'm Ardent. If you would like to, you're welcome to take it, and I can fiddle around with the mirror.
I was almost thinking we could go all three, go in on that all three, at least to begin with, to make sure we get enough clues to, because I think if we push it, we should be able to get enough clues to resolve it the next night phase, and then we can go for another one after that.
That works for me. So all three of us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds good. And obviously, I mean, if you want to like approach it from different directions as well, that's cool. I mean, like you could obviously, if all three of you want to go and have a look around that mysterious house, you can. Or if like one of you wants to go and like hit the streets or do whatever else, that's cool. But yeah, we can frame that up however you would like. Cool, no worries. Awesome.
I think it seems reasonable that if we're going to poke around a strange house where there could be a serial killer hiding, then we should go in force. So going all three of us seems reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We wouldn't want to be alone with some strange, crazy person who cuts up corpses and takes pieces of them to do something unsavory. That would be terrible.
yes, absolutely. Thank you. That is yes, I would not want to be alone with such a person. No, I feel confident in my own ability to overcome a ruffian, but still, it's would be nice to have someone to have my back if I get injured, or if they get injured. That no, well, anyways, I am sorry you rattled me a little there, or Mr. Caseberry.
Oh no, it's quite all right. And you speak correctly when it's probably some ruffian. I mean, no educated person would stoop to something like this.
I don't know. I think that would let me check the clues for a second here because I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm not sure. The education does not protect a mind from madness. So
True.
it might even exacerbate it, actually, because if you know more and if you gaze deeper into the world, some minds might crack.
I suppose so. You would know that you would know more about that than I, since you are more highly educated and have more experience in academic circles.
I apologize. I did not mean to be condescending. If I came across like that, I have been told before.
Oh,
that
no.
I'm a little snobbish and I have to work on that.
Oh no, we all have our talents and gifts. And sometimes they lie in different directions.
True, very true. So, shall we go and see? Shall we go to this place where the house might be and see what we can find there?
Indeed.
Very good.
Yeah, so you will make your way to the street that was mentioned. The the house was will be quite will be apparent from the sort of the description and directions that you're given to you. Obviously, during the daytime, there nothing seems particularly out of the ordinary from the outside. Many of the curtains are still drawn, but other than that, it seems, it's quite a nice townhouse, quite upmarket, quite owned or rented perhaps by someone with quite a bit of money on their hands. How are you approaching the place?
Well, I think we might just ask around. There might be some neighbors about. We can ask them who lives in this beautiful house, because if they want to know why, maybe we want to rent it or something.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think, you'll be able to kind of speak to a few people going by in the street, and yeah, if you would like to make me an information move, and we'll call that with it probably is just with presence for this, just generally not putting people off as you're speaking to them.
Because I'm so good with that. I don't think I can pull my medical text into this, or a microscope, and I don't think I have my gramophone. And siren liver oil doesn't seem very reasonable, so I'll just roll 2 dice. Oh, there we go. That's an 8.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think what you'll talk to a few people, and a couple of don't seem that up on it, but you will catch the attention of a sort of maid from one of the nearby houses, and yeah, as you ask her, she will say, yeah, that house, it's well, the house itself is owned by Dame Teasdale, though she doesn't live there. She rents it out, I believe. There was a lady there. Her name was Victoria Callas. Though I've not seen anyone go in or out there a lot recently. It's been there's clearly been some people there, but I don't actually know if that's still who lives there or not. They certainly don't make much of a much of an impression on the local social scene. They keep to themselves. It's fairly quiet there, as I say. Yeah. Sorry, I can't be much more help. But as I say, they don't really seem to. They don't really seem to say do much. Nothing untoward. No late night disturbances. No or anything like that. Just very quiet, very private, I suppose. Yeah, and the clue there is just the name Victoria Callas, which I will add onto the
Well, once she's gone, I will turn to you and say, well, it seems we might have to go into that house to find out more about what is going on there.
I'm not opposed to a little larceny.
Well, I have no experience with such things, I'm afraid.
Well,
I
you
suppose
just
we
say
could just try knocking on the door first.
Oh,
suppose so if you want to do it all peaceful like.
I think we might try during the day. We might try it all peaceful, I guess you say. That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, we could save the larceny for the nighttime,
Yes,
and we are less likely to be observed.
yes, that and identified. That seems like a good strategy. Yes, but let's knock and see who answers our knock.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll knock at the door. And there's no response for a bit. Maybe knock again, and again there seems to be no response. You'll be hanging around a couple of minutes, and it's after a while it seems clear that no one's coming.
Well, I'm afraid.
I was thinking I could try that talking to ghost house things move. I don't remember what it was called.
Yes, old
Bones.
bones. Yeah, it's in the
Old
moves
bones.
tab. Yeah, no, absolutely. So how does it look as you try and kind of so the trigger for this is when you have Cosmic Passage marked and touch, listen to, or otherwise attune to a building's architectural details. Roll with sensitivity. But yeah, how does this look to you?
I think we've knocked on the door. We've waited for a bit. I think Ardent steps back from the door, and I think he's actually standing with his back to the building, but he's picturing in his mind what it looks like, and I think he's like slowly unconsciously raising his hands, and he's sort of trying to sense what the building looks like inside and get a feel for it. And it's not a conscious plan, it's just something that he does.
Awesome. So if you would like to roll with sensitivity, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. See if my dice cam is working. No, it's not, because it's sorry. It's not working because I flipped the dice, the thing that holds it up, over the other day. Do we have the link to?
Oh yeah, it's in the info tab, but I will copy that. In fact, I've got it open, so I'll.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, let's. Okay. I don't remember how this one works. This dice everywhere. So I just
You
click
can
two of them.
you can either click on two of them and then roll the thingy, or you can make your own dice by clicking on a die in the top row, and you can choose the color of this die by the field on the right, very much on the right, which is pink right now, but you can change it to, I don't know.
Okay, I think I marked 2 dice now, and do I just roll select the dice?
Oh, there you go.
I got a 7. I don't remember. Do I have sensitivity? 3 sensitivity, so that's a 10.
Nice. Perfect, perfect. So you will successfully summon a ghost, and they won't ask you for anything in return. You will be able to ask them one question, and then I will answer that possibly in the form of a clue if it seems appropriate. So yeah, I think you will as you're kind of envisaging this, the building in your mind's eye, you will feel the pull of a spirit that appears before you. They are kind of it's kind of difficult at first to tell who they are, but they it does appear to be a woman, dressed sort of quite simply. Obviously, the most apparent detail of them is that the entirety of their face has been removed. Blood, so spectral blood drips off of them still. And it's difficult to, like I say, it's difficult to really identify them in their current state, but you are fairly certain that this is indeed the spirit of Clara Yarborough that you have summoned. And I think there's just Mr. Casebury, is that you?
Ah, yes, indeed. Oh, Claire?
It's so cold here.
Such a terrible fate should befall you. It is it's unconscionable. Where I'm trying to where inside this house can we find what we need to bring the person who did this to justice?
In the basement of this place, I think I remember being led down.
Basement. That's appropriate, I suppose. We shall go at once. I hope we can bring you peace.
Thank you. and with that, her spirit dissipates. Being sort of tugged away. Cool. So yeah.
So larceny it is then?
Yes. I think we should go now if we can. Is there a? And I think Ardent starts walking around trying to see if there's a separate entrance to the basement, or if they need to go in the front door.
So there is probably not like an actual like door down into the basement, but there is a coal chute that would lead down there. It is currently padlocked, but there's a coal chute.
So are there any doors in that we could force open without everyone seeing what we're
there
doing?
There will be a back door as well. The coal chute is also sort of on the coal chute, and the back door are both sort of on a smaller alleyway to the rear of the house. It's obviously a lot less traffic. It seems like a lot of these fancy houses have their kind of servants' entrances and the like on the back.
Yeah.
Well, we had to go through some closed doors when I was a student, and they locked our living places, our houses, student houses, and I do not remember a lot about shimming a lock, but if anybody of you has more experience with that, please, I will not hold it against you.
I've got no qualms about going down any coal chutes.
Yes, but there's still the padlock that we have to force first, isn't there?
That's the easy part.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're going want to make your entrance through there, it would probably probably be no, that's okay. It will probably be a vitality if you're just going to try and force it open, or composure to try and do it a little more subtly. But whichever approach you wish to take is perfectly fine.
I'd like to try a bit more subtly. I think the stats are equivalent right now for my character, so we'll go with the path of least resistance to start with anyhow. Are we planning on doing this right here and now, or are we going to wait till nightfall?
I think we are doing this right here now.
Yeah.
So if I understood Mr. Caseberry correctly.
Okay. So is this a day move that we're doing here?
That's right. So yes, this will be a day move with composure, as I say, if you're going to like pick the lock or otherwise try and finesse your way in.
Got it. In that case, I'm just afraid of getting caught.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. So yeah, if you'd like to make your roll and see how it goes.
Okay, this is with a +2. 11.
11. Perfect. You will get the lock open, no problem. It's quite a big and heavy lock. It's a good lock. This isn't something they've skimped on, but you know how to pick a good lock. It's not a bank vault. The lock comes. The padlock opens easily. You will notice as well, the lock is the padlock is very well oiled. It's not remotely rusty. I said it's a very good lock. And as you open the big sort of metal doors over the coal chute, they are likewise very well oiled. They well, they make as little a sound as a big metal door can make when opening. But yeah, they and again, there's no stiffness there. They open smoothly.
Someone's keeping this entryway well maintained. It seems to be of use to someone.
Well, it is a coal chute. I imagine that it would be in good use if somebody's living here. It's not that hot in London that you would not need a stove for cooking things. You would also need coal. But of course, it might also have more nefarious purposes.
Well,
Yeah.
Suppose we're about to find out, and I'll kind of peer down into the coal chute. Well, I'm happy to slide on in and take a look. If anyone would care to join me, that's all right.
Well, can hardly let you go alone.
Will I stay here and keep watch then?
Very well.
Awesome.
Just throw a rock down or something if someone's coming or we need to get out.
Yes, I'll do my best to signal you.
I'll do a lot of conspicuous coughing. There are lots of people with consumption around London, just from the lungs.
Awesome. We'll take a quick break there. So if we
Yes.
come back at 22, and
Yes.
we'll pick things up then. Yeah. So you slide down the coal chute. There is a pile of coal at the bottom of it. It doesn't look like it's not like there's a decent amount there, but it's not like full up to the top of the coal hopper underneath. And there is that moment where, as you kind of slide down and land, on the sort of slightly shifting surface of the coal beneath, you kind of instinctively go to rub the coal dust off of your clothing, and you notice that actually the coal chute is surprisingly clean. But yeah, you will find yourself, you're kind of at the minute you're in like a little coal bunker in the that's in the basement, but there's a door kind of leading out of here into the basement proper. It is obviously, it's in here, there's light filtering in from the coal hole above, but it is otherwise dark down here.
Well, that is oddly clean for a coal chute. I mean, there is some dust that I would have imagined would be both very black by now, but apparently no. So this must be used for something else. But there is coal in here, right?
There is coal there as well, yep.
Okay.
Well, shall we take a look around? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking of what else you could dump down a coal chute, if not the black ore from the center of the earth. And I'm thinking bodies, things along those lines.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we find. We should have brought some sort of candle.
We always do fail to plan ahead with the details, don't we?
I apologize. Larceny was not on my list of activities today. Not precisely, at least. But I think we will. I feel we shall prevail.
Yeah, I can take responsibility for the lack of candle. As it is, I'm gonna stroll over to that door yonder and see if I can get a sense as to if there's any sign of occupancy in this house. If so, that changes the plan quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As you head over to the door, it's it's not even that it is not locked. The door does not have a lock. It's the door to the coal bunker. It won't, obviously it won't prevent you from entering further into the house. But yeah, are you just kind of having a kind of listen and generally trying to get a sense for if there's someone else moving about? I think. No, I tell you what, I will say. I think I think they will go for the day move here, and what are you afraid will happen if you fail here?
Someone's coming this way, and I don't notice, or I'm not quick enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. Oh, sorry, and that will be, I think. I think we'll call that. I think we'll call that vitality. That definitely feels like something. It definitely feels like you're sort of pulling on your extra human senses there. So
it's my sensitive hearing. All right. Well, let's go ahead and give this a try here at a +2. Oof, that's a 10.
10. Yeah. So you listen carefully, maybe even scent things a little, but there's definitely no one like moving around the basement, no one on the other side of the door. It's absolutely silent there. You get the feeling that there isn't anyone moving around in the house at all. You can't be like 100% certain from sort of down here, but there's just something about the way the place feels. It has a very sort of still, silent feel to it.
I'll look over my shoulder. Fenworth, I think we got an all clear so far. It's almost a little too quiet, if you ask me.
Well, I prefer in this situation, I prefer too quiet to too noisy. But then I am very comfortable with rather quiet people, so let's see if we can.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, after you, my dear.
I was just going to say that makes 2 of us.
And let's say what we can say.
Now, if there's any suspicion that, I mean, actually, I'll pause here. Out of character, do we have suspicion this is a stronghold for some kind of malevolent force?
I don't know. I mean, right now we are just following some breadcrumb clues, and that might be a little bit in over our heads, actually, because I don't feel that either of us is a breaking and entering fellow. It's a burglar. So I think, yeah, but I think we're both confident enough to just assume that we will be able to deal with whatever comes our way.
I just asked because if we did suspect that there were, in fact, bodies being thrown down that there chute, we might find something that fell off them in the coal pile if we dig through it.
I feel that we should maybe look at the house itself before we start digging through a coal pile. You know, I'm not averse to looking at people or body parts, but digging through coal is not precisely my favorite pastime. So let's just look around the house. I feel that maybe we can if we find a whole body, that would be a lot more informative.
Well, come to think of it. What was that, David?
I said, and useful. But
oh, yeah, that didn't. No, yeah, well, maybe.
I was just gonna say, well, come to think of it, I imagine if we were digging through coal, we'd end up leaving handprints everywhere the rest of the house, and well,
yes,
maybe save that part for the way out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, come to think of it, because we climbed through the chute, I think I have a handkerchief that is reasonably clean, so we can clean our hands and faces before we go out.
I'll stomp my boots off and see if I can get the most of the coal dust off of those too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, shall we?
Yes.
I'll kind of motion towards the door.
Ladies first.
So what's the rest of the basement kind of looking like?
Yeah, so you will open this door. It leads into a little bit of a corridor. Again, there's some light spilling through. But it's quite gloomy down here. There are obviously, like I said, a couple of other doors off. Most of them don't actually have. They're like archways rather than actual doors. That you know, the coal cellar obviously has a door to stop dust from getting everywhere, but it's one of these quite. It's obviously it's a big set of basements, but it's one of these ones where it's like obviously portioned off into different uses. You will be able to make out in the gloom a set of stairs heading up just sort of down the other end of the corridor. You will also you will be able to find there is in fact there's probably a couple of lamps hanging off on hooks inside this corridor that you can make use of if you wish.
Oh, I'll take a lamp at the very least.
Yeah, very convenient.
Fenworth, or your scholarly intuitions leading you in any one particular direction?
My scholarly intuitions would always lead me, would lead me towards any kind of books or learning. But right now, I think we might be better served at something kitchen-like, where we can, if you have to kill somebody, you would want a drain of the blood. And also, what we should maybe look for is oleander. Oh, I should have looked out for that in the garden, I think. Well, because the washerwoman, Clara Yarborough, something like that. She was poisoned with oleander, so maybe we can find some tincture here.
Right, then we'll go for the sharp objects and the poisons and such.
Yeah, so as you start looking around the basement first, there is a wine cellar, not a huge one. We're not talking like a proper vineyard vault style one, but a relatively large one. Seems like middlingly well stocked. It's not full, but there are some bottles and a couple of small casks in there. There is a kind of like a cold storage room, essentially, not like refrigerated or anything, but just like a place for keeping stuff cool, like a pantry type room. Again, there is some meat hanging up in here on hooks, but not, again, it's not full. There's some jars, pickles, some dried herbs hanging down on hooks as well, but nothing. Again, everything, the way stuff is the way everything here seems, it doesn't look like this is currently being occupied by a family or whatever. There is stuff here, but not like it's by no means full. There's
meat. Sorry. The meat hanging from the hooks, that is just animal meat, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There is certainly without like at a glance there is nothing that looks suspiciously human or anything like that. It does just look like a few like hams hanging up, and it is like hams rather than like a fresh side of beef or whatever. There is another room, and this one has been freshly whitewashed. Well, relatively freshly whitewashed. You know, it looks still clean. It's free of dirt and dust and grime. It has various. It looks like it's probably just a general sort of storage type room, but there is a large stone slab in the center of the room. There is drainage in here. There are in the other rooms as well, but you will notice just and that's the thing. There's clearly been, this room has been deliberately kept clean, but you will just notice in the tiles, in the sort of some of the grout, and just around the very edges of the drain in the room, there are traces of blood. And this is essentially, I'm going to give you a clue here as a kind of confirmation of what you were told by Clara's ghost, which is flecks of blood in an otherwise pristine place.
Well, it looks like Ardent's poltergeist was onto something after all.
Hardly surprising if it's the energy of the woman who was murdered here. I'd imagine that she would know that. That's interesting. That place, yes, that is a good place for the kind of operation you would want to do if you took off a face of a body and keep it intact, because I feel that this is not what I saw from it. They need the faces intact and not cut up. And that requires at least some sort of skill. A hunter might have that sort of skill, but I feel that a surgeon might be better prepared.
And Ardent, well, we'll visit back with you for a moment. You've clearly, obviously, heard some of the conversation that was going on down at the bottom of the coal chute, and you'll have heard the others move further in. Is there anything that you want to get up to while you're waiting, or do you want to stop waiting and move in? How do you what do you feel like you want to get up to?
No, I'm content to let them investigate. I'll keep a lookout and yeah, as a player, I'm fine with letting them continue to see.
Sure thing. No worries. So yeah, yeah, Dr. Fenworth, Trixie, you think, like I said, you think you have found certainly the room where Clara Yarborough died. What do you want to do?
It seems that I have not. Do you have the feeling that somebody is at home right now? And even if they were, should we go and confront them?
Sense that I got listening at the door earlier was that we're all by ourselves, but there's always a room for error.
Yeah. Maybe we should search this place, and if there's nobody here, we can come back tonight, because there were lights on here, from what I heard in the evening. Then we can figure out what this person wants to do with these faces. Maybe we can find the faces, though.
Sounds like a safe bet to me. Well, let's get to searching then. And I think for the
Haven't-
first time since we've gotten down here, I will take my hand off the holster of my gun and actually start looking around with both hands to see if I can find anything
I have
along
an
with John.
idea. It might be a terrible one, though. I wonder if I can write this person a letter. Not the kind of "you are evil and we will arrest you" letter, but the kind of "you are doing very interesting work. I would be interested in an exchange" letter to lure them out.
Yeah, that is certainly a potential plan. You in the rooms you've looked in so far, there's no obvious like writing material or the like down here, but there may well be something upstairs.
I mean, we have an entire house. I feel that we might be able to find something or other to write with there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. So Trixie, you're going to search the basement or this room for signs of stuff. Just kind of a fairly standard like search. I was trying to think of the other word I was looking for, but yeah. So that will be an information move. That will probably be with reason. Dr. Fenworth, are you heading upstairs to look to leave a message for your host?
Well, do I find something that I can write on?
Yeah, no, we'll come back to you. I just wanted to check you're going to go up and do that while Trixie's still searching.
I will wander through the halls like these are mine, because I feel that if you move into a place like you're belonging there, people will be at least considering that you are not a burglar instead, or maybe just confused or something. And since I am of noble birth, I feel that is something that I am very well equipped to do.
Absolutely, no worries. So yeah, Trixie, if you would like to make me, as I said, make me the information move with reason, and we'll see how that goes.
Righty, that's just going to be rolling flat. So let's see how it goes. That's a miss. I'm inclined to mask this one to bump it up to a 7 to 9.
Sure thing. I think we get that moment where sort of in the TV show where you are searching through things as Dr. Fenworth walks off to go upstairs and have a look around. And as you're sort of sorting through some tools in a wooden chest down here, we just get that like shot over your shoulder as we see looming from the shadows, the flickering lamplight behind you, a figure dressed in a white lab coat with a wooden featureless mask covering their face, a scalpel in their hand. But as you shift and move something in the chest and turn around, there's nobody there. It was obviously just a figment of our imagination for a moment. And on the 7 to 9, what you will discover is what you will discover is a amidst all, as you're searching through all of this, as I said, a lot of the stuff that you're looking through, it is just kind of what you might expect to find in a basement like this. There's a lot of tools for the garden. There is a lot of bits and pieces like that. It's all very orderly and it's all very clean. It's obviously been kept very, very neat in here. There are definitely some tools in here that could be used for butchering. There are some like cleavers and bone saws and the like. It's all very, kind of what you would expect. Until you find one chest. And sort of there, as you open it up, there is just a very sudden scent of very, very strong, like expensive and very fine perfume, but it is obviously very strong perfume. And as you've sort of looked in this chest, you feel that your hands are covered in it. It's obviously spilt all over the inside of this chest. And inside the chest, there are cosmetics and face lotions and all other similar things that you find in this one case. But I am going to ask you to take the condition. Which way do I want to go with it? Yeah, we'll call it nose blind. As like I said, this perfume has been out for a long time. You've got it all over your hands now. It's overwhelming everything else you can smell.
That works for me. I will just say one of the big problems with these with the game, David, is that the descriptions you give of what's going to happen on a miss, your descriptions are so horrifying and cool. I always just want to take the miss and I don't want to use the mask. But in the interest of getting more clues, I suppose we will.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. That's what the mechanic's there for, is to give us some chance to have some horrific stuff while still getting the thing done. So that's not a problem at all. So Dr. Fenworth, as you reach the upper floors, you will come out into the kitchen. The back door is the back door that you've already seen, sort of leads into like the scullery and kitchen area. There is a key in the door, so you can kind of unlock that if you wish to allow Ardent in.
Yeah, I will do that. I will open the door and look out and say, Mr. Caseberry.
Yes.
Come in if you want. We found quite a bit of interesting architecture.
Certainly. And he will follow in.
Yes. And I will tell you about my plan to leave a letter to the perpetrator, whoever it is.
Are you sure that it's wise to communicate with such a disturbed mind?
Well, it probably is not wise, but the thing is, we are here to stop this person, and I feel that if we were wise, we would be sitting in Hargrave House, sipping coffee and talking about the supernatural and what it actually might be, and argue about this. But since we are clearly here, that seems that we have left the path of wisdom behind us a bit ago. So, no, I'm sure it is not wise, but it might be effective.
Very well then.
Yeah, so I will go and try and find some ink and thing to write with.
Yeah, as
Pen.
you head into sort of the house proper, again, it's a nice house. It's in good repair, but it just has that feeling of being abandoned isn't even quite the right word, just not lived in. Like all the decorations are still in perfectly good condition. It's clean. There's maybe a bit of dust around, but not like it's been sitting empty for months or anything like that.
There are no servants. Like a house like this would have needs a servant, doesn't it? I mean,
but and things like there is some furniture, but not really much decoration. Certainly nothing that looks personal in here. It's all very, I mean, it looks like a rental house that is sort of between clients, essentially between tenants. But you will, as you head into one of the rooms, I'm actually going to ask you to make me the information move with reason. You will find a desk and ink and stuff like anyway, but I think as you're having a look around, it makes sense to get an information move in as well.
Yes, I mean we are obviously keeping our eyes open, so that makes sense. And I like rolling with reason. Well, I rolled another 8, so that's a 10.
10, perfect. So yeah, you will find a bureau in one of the rooms. You kind of pull down the sort of writing shelf on it, and yes, you will notice that there is a fairly fresh-looking pot of ink and pen and paper, all sort of neatly arranged within the bureau. But you also notice there is a stack of letters bound up with a piece of red ribbon. With a quick glance over them, it's a set of increasingly florid love letters. They're not signed, but they are addressed to somebody called Gregory. But yeah, you will be able to write a note to leave for whoever may be inhabiting this place.
Yes, I will address it to whoever it may concern. Like, I've seen your work. It seems very. I'm a surgeon myself and very interested in such things. I feel that it might be to our mutual benefit if we could exchange information, techniques. This does not help me with the whole feeling guilty because this is far too close to the phone. I think Mr. Caseberry will notice that John is unusually agitated when he writes that and stares at after he's written it, he kind of stares at the page and something that's almost like horror or something. And then he wipes his face, which is not very helpful. Says, well, that is done now, I think. We really must catch this terrible fiend.
Yes. Oh, I think Ardent will while John is writing the note, Ardent will look around a bit in this room and any adjoining rooms, trying to get a feel for what kind of person might be living here.
Yeah. So I'll give you a little bit, and then we might get another information move out of that as well. But as I say, you will likewise get that feeling. Like I said, this, it doesn't feel like someone is living here at the minute per se. Like there's obviously some furniture, but it's not fully furnished. It's certainly not, like I said, it's certainly not fully decorated. What you will notice as you're kind of having a quick look around, there is a large, I mean, not quite a ballroom. It's not that big a house, but there's a larger reception room sort of thing that has several comfortable chairs around the edge, sort of space in the middle, and what you do notice in here are there are some. It's just a few little things, but there are some a couple of glasses left on on the mantelpiece or on the tops of tables and stuff like that. There's signs that sort of people have been around in here, like maybe a party or something like that. It's got that kind of feel to it. That sort of like someone hasn't yet cleaned up from a party the night before or whatever. But yeah, if you want to have a look in more detail, yeah, again, it's probably going to be reason, maybe supernatural if you want to get spooky with it, and we'll see where that leads. But probably reason otherwise, just for a sort of general sort of investigation of the place.
Yeah, I think reason makes most sense here, unfortunately. My reason is currently -1. Let's roll the dice and see what happens. That's a 7, so that's a 6 total.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, this was the information. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, no, you didn't need to. You didn't need to tell me what you were worried would happen. So yeah, as you head, like I said, into this sort of reception room, you're having a kind of a look around, maybe inspecting a couple of the glasses, and there will be a polite cough from behind you, and a fairly sort of light voice will say, excuse me, I don't believe that you have been extended an invitation, unless I'm very much mistaken.
Ardent will whip around and jump backwards, very, very surprised at this, since he assumed that John and Trixie had made sure there were no other people in the house.
And you will turn to see a young boy, probably about sort of 12, 13-ish. He is dressed in he's kind of dressed in that sort of classic cricket cap and knee-length shorts, but quite he's looking very, very stylish. Nice blazer, shiny shoes, and I will say, I don't suppose you're going to give me an explanation of what it is you are doing here in my in this in this house?
Am I close by? Can I help you out, Mr. Caseberry?
Yeah, you can probably hear this. You may not be able to hear exactly what's being said, but you can certainly hear the sound of conversation from the other room. The boy isn't making any effort to speak especially quietly.
I'll amble over then.
No, I don't think I will. And Ardent will move towards the door and basically just try to walk out of there.
I think perhaps it might be better if you wait here to explain yourself. And I think as Dr. Fenworth is coming in and saying, perhaps your friend can join us as well.
Oh, hello there, John says, and tries to smile affably. Says, this is an amazing building. Don't you agree? My friend, look at this scrolling in the woodworks here. It's amazing. Who built this house?
Oh, I'm not. I can't say as I know the exact identity of the
Pity.
Of the architect, sir, but it certainly serves my employer's purposes. Yes,
it's a very fine piece of London architecture, as I was telling my friend here. So I think we will be. Is there a library?
There is indeed.
Oh, then we should look at that.
Could we? Well, yes, you know best.
I mean, being in a house like this and not looking at the library would positively be a crime, wouldn't it?
Yes, a crime, certainly.
I'll take you by the arm and steer you out of the room towards wherever the library might be.
Yeah, the dapper-looking boy will follow you out and say, the library is just upstairs, first door on the right.
Thank you. Much obliged.
That's quite all right.
And I will point out features of the architecture and I will not be very quiet, so I think that Trixie might have a chance of hearing me. And I will point out points of the architecture. Look at this banister, that polish, that you can't get wood like this in London. This has to be brought in. This has to be brought in up north, doesn't it? I will include that boy in the conversation, like I've got every right to be here, right? This is just me looking at this house. And
absolutely. So what I'm going to ask for here is probably, again, there will be the day move, I think, to basically try and keep the boy distracted while Trixie, to give Trixie the chance to get up here. Well, yeah, sorry, yeah, you can make that roll, certainly, if you would like, Miss Dr. Fenworth. Oh, sorry, and obviously, yeah, tell me what you are afraid will happen if you fail here.
I'm afraid that somebody will come up who is a bit more threatening than that boy, because I feel like fast talking a child is not that hard, but maybe somebody will come up who's actually more aggressive and be more in a better position to be aggressive about this. So I'm rolling with presence, I assume. Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, that's it. I was just checking your conditions, but I don't think you're riddled by guilt will put you off this.
No, I don't think so. I mean, right now I'm trying to get us out of here without any kind of violent confrontation. So I don't think we'll. I've got an 8. So yay.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think what it is it's not so much that you so for a start you are going to kind of give Trixie enough time to kind of get onto the scene. That will happen, but it's kind of more what you get is as you're talking to the boy and trying to kind of keep him distracted, and so on and so forth. What you notice, obviously, as you're doing this, is that when you sort of suggested going up this, he is clearly trying to herd you upstairs. He wants to get you up there so that you are trapped, essentially. So you're able to know that would be a bad plan. You sort of going on what you think. You suspect that he may have people waiting upstairs. That's kind of the vibe you get. What I will also though say, and I think it's been a couple of weeks, so I can't remember precisely which one of you it was either you or it was either Dr. Fenworth or Ardent who spoke with very briefly spoke with Dame Margaret Teasdale at the art gallery the art exhibition the other evening. And you will recognize a painting of her from when she was younger up on one of the walls in here, just as an incidental detail.
I think might have been me.
Yeah.
She was talking to Falkenberg, right?
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was me. Well, what I will do is the classic, oh, look at my wrist. In that case, I will say, I feel there will be a bell ringing, and I will then pull out my pocket watch and say, dear goodness me, Mr. Oh my gosh, I'm apologize. It is that late. I am afraid we must go right now. My dear auntie has high tea in an hour, and we are not yet well dressed for it. I apologize for the inconvenience, sir, to the boy, but we must away. We will come back, of course, to look more at this house. It's very lovely. Give my regards to the inhabitants, and I'm looking forward to coming back, and I'm trying to herd Ardent out of here. Like, oh, we have to go because I don't want to meet whoever he's got up there.
You'll say, oh, that is a great pity. Please do take care. I'm sure we will be able to see each other at some point soon.
And because manners, right, I leave my card. I feel I can't rightly escape this because it's so ingrained. I mean, I'm terribly overstepping, but not leaving my card would be, I mean, that would be just rude.
And he will accept it and say, well, thank you very much, Doctor. I shall be sure to let my employer know of your interest. And the other thing you do catch is he didn't look at the card before he said Doctor.
I think that's more Ardent who notices that than John, because being addressed by a title is kind of second nature.
Awesome. So if the three of you are content to leave, at this, then there will be no further trouble. They will not cause a disturbance here unless pressed. But yeah.
That works for me.
Cool. So what I think we'll do is we'll take another quick break, and we'll get back. If there's anything else people want to get up to during the day, any last little bits of clue gathering or a vulnerable move, anything like that, we can do so. We will then probably, if we want to look at coming to answering some questions, and some gathering of body parts, maybe we'll see. But yeah, we'll come back on that. I think. Yeah, no, I think we'll probably start the night phase next time, and see what we do from there. But yeah, so we'll take a bit more time during this day phase, I think. So yeah, cool. I will see you all back in about 5 minutes time, and then we'll pick things up again. Yeah. So when you make your exit from the townhouse, I believe, Dr. Fenworth, you were interested in a visit to the morgue. Trixie, was there anything else you wanted to get up to today? Whether that be digging into some more, see if we can find anything else out on the Sally No Face through some alternate methods, or if you wanted to take a look into any of the other anything else going on in London.
I've been getting so much mileage out of that As Cruel as the Harlot's Curse move. I might go ahead and give that a go, as long as we've got a bit of time left in the day phase.
No, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, we're I was thinking like with actually theorizing about the threat and going into the night phase, I think we'd be a bit short on time, to be honest, to give it its thing. So yeah, no, I'm happy to continue the day phase basically until well, for as long as we want to carry on. So no, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, Dr. Fenworth, you head to the morgue, and as you arrive, there is that moment where Peter Jacobson is doing something corpse related in his line of work, and as you come in, he will look up and say, "Oh, Dr. Fenworth, it's so good to see you again. Do come in. Is there anything I can do for you today?"
Oh, hello, Peter. No, I'm looking around for my more esoteric studies into anatomy. So I will need to poke around a bit and see, look at people and look at their insides. Maybe.
Of course, Doctor. Well, if I can be of any assistance, please let me know. As you know, I'm always happy to work with so talented professional as you, Doctor.
Thank you. I have brought my microscope with me, so I can study some details. And I will show him the microscope, which is basically just me trying to distract him from what I'm actually doing.
Yeah,
but I mean, microscope, very interesting.
Yeah, he is clearly very, very excited to see the microscope.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not. It's not just distraction, because I actually like him and I think he might benefit from that, but it's also a distraction. So he won't notice that I saw this person's feet over there and put them in my bag, which otherwise might lead to awkward questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he will gush for a little bit about the microscope, and then I'll say, if you don't mind, Doctor, can I prepare some slides for it? I've read all about it in the journals, but I've not had the opportunity to try before. Hey, you have to slice the skin very, very thin.
Yes, you will have to be very careful with the blade, and I will explain to him how that works and what he is supposed to do with the slices, because it's not just pulling off a slice and then looking at it, because you have to prepare it, right? Otherwise, it will just you will just see blobs. I mean, you will also just see blobs, but they are very interesting blobs, and I will explain to him what those blobs are. Then I will leave him to it.
Yeah, and he's clearly sort of taking some samples from a couple of the bodies that he's administering to, but yeah, is very excited by all this.
Good. The more slices he takes of bodies, which is not precisely allowed, I think, the better, because then oh man, I feel like why are we after this Sally No Face person again? I'm not that much better. I mean, I haven't killed anybody for my child yet, but for the culmination for the last part I need, I think it won't happen without me killing somebody.
Excellent. Yeah. So we'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, Trixie. So you're where do you think you're heading to find a game of cards?
Well, depending on the type of neighborhood this house we just investigated is in, perhaps there's a gambling den nearby. Otherwise, I might see if Jenny's Opium Den or something near the docks would have something along those lines. Either way, I'm going to go in there stinking of perfume that quite defies my exterior presentation.
Yeah. So yeah, you probably we'll say, I think in the there will be I think this is, I can't remember if I gave a specific neighborhood last time, and if I did it doesn't matter. We'll say that this is like in Kensington, and yeah, there will definitely be a kind of in the immediate vicinity. There will be a sort of gentleman's club that a game of cards can be had at. You are probably not, strictly speaking, allowed admittance, but they will. You go to somewhere where you know someone who works the door, and they will kind of make an exception for you, and let you in to a room full of probably at this time of day, not a room full of, but certainly a room with a number of wealthy gamblers playing at cards.
Absolutely. And if it isn't too cheap a tactic, similar to the last time I tried this move and I bet my gold nugget as a means of getting advantage, I wonder if I might be able to use the crystal that Albertina possessed, that I recovered from the siren and was able to place in my personal quarters. If that's worth anything of value, might I bet that?
No, absolutely. It seems like a perfect use of it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and bet that to roll with advantage. And so this is going to be just sort of numbing out and trying to again restore a sense of normalcy after the rather disturbing conversation I overheard between that boy and Fenworth.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I think that is so that's roll with vitality, and yeah, you have advantage. So yeah, go ahead and see how this goes.
Fingers crossed. Oh, for pity's sake. That is a 1, 1, and 2 on 3 dice.
So that is it gives you a 5, I believe. So I think yeah, I think that what happens is you're sat at one of the tables playing cards. It's one of those, there is a mix of some people are definitely looking at you askance. You know, this is, you are kind of sticking out here a bit, but you know, some of the other gentlemen are quite happy to have an attractive young lady in their midst. Partway through, you've kind of been up and down. It's not been an especially runaway success of a game so far. But a lady, a well-dressed lady, again, somewhat unusual here, though it definitely of the right social class to be here, will come in and take a seat next to you, and she, like I said, she is well dressed. Her facial features seem a little bit like stiff, slightly waxy complexion to her, but she is, like I said, well dressed and has particularly has a number of is bedecked with jewels. And she was my dear, you, I do not believe I have seen you here before.
Just thought I'd drop in. I'm not from around this part of the neighborhood.
No, indeed. Well, she will put a hand sort of under your chin and say, you do have a most beautiful set of features, quite exquisite. Sorry, my name is Lady Dame Margaret Teasdale. Pleasure to meet you. She waves a sort of a ringed hand. Says, I own many of the properties in this neighborhood.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Ms. Teasdale. If you don't mind my asking, is inspection of one's features a typical part of your introduction? I have to admit I'm not familiar with high society London decorum.
When they're as striking as yours are, my dear, I can hardly resist. She will smile, say, that is a most distinct perfume you wear as well.
Well, I have to say it's not typical choice for myself, but well, I'm always open to try anything new once.
Really? How splendid. In which case, and she will proffer from her her bag a card. It's a gold embossed card, which actually seems to be an invitation to an exhibition of art and medicine. And she will say, if you are truly interested in unique experiences, you simply must come along to this. I will hear no objection.
Art and medicine. Now, there's two stranger. I have to say I haven't seen two stranger bedfellows than that in some time.
Quite so. Quite so. Well, may I will have someone send you over a drink if you would like. What is your poison, as they say, I believe?
Oh, no, thank you, Ms. I'm, as a matter of fact, still recovering from last night. I'm referencing my tipsy condition here. I need to get rid of that. I have to ask though, taking a look at this invitation, you wouldn't happen to be aware of anyone by the name of Lord Falkenberg, would you? I ask because I attended an exhibit of sorts, not unlike the one you're pointing me toward just a few nights back, and I have to say, perhaps the two of you may have met before.
Oh, indeed, I do know the dear boy, lovely young man. I was there, in fact. It's a shame I did not have the pleasure then. Still,
well,
I'm glad that has been remedied.
Naturally, and I think at this point, maybe like I don't know how Faro has played, but I think at this point probably the round suddenly ends and I lose a bunch of money, and I kind of look back up at her. Well, you say, in the event that I need to be in touch with you, you said that you were the owner and proprietor of a number of establishments, something to that effect?
Not the establishments per se, the buildings, the land more specifically. I am a landlord to many families and businesses in this area.
I see, property owner. Well, if I ever am in need of any sort of lodging or anything to that effect, I will certainly keep you in mind. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I appreciate your thinking about my features.
That's quite all right. I am sure I can find somewhere to put you if you do decide.
Naturally. Well, if you don't mind, I seem to have taken a turn of bad luck here. Then I can see that I have virtually no money in my pool left. We will have to be in touch, Mrs. or Ms. Teasdale, I believe you said.
Indeed.
And I think at that point I will do the equivalent of picking up what's left of my monies and heading out, having gotten little to nothing from that particular run of gambling.
Sure thing. So what I will say here is, if you wish to mark a mask to get the 7 to 9, that conversation will still stand, and you can get the benefits of the move. Otherwise, I will give you the condition instead, which will be I'm trying to think of a good way of putting it. Yeah, we'll just call it marked for slaughter, I think.
This is a tough one because that would put me up to 3 conditions going into a quickening roll, which is not where you want to be. Of course, I am running low on masks. I will go ahead.
I should say that you do have access, if you wish, to the there is the Mask of Beauty available for this threat if you wish to use that. And as you may be looking to resolve the threat soon, now might be a time to do so.
What do you think about that, John? Because last I recall, I've used probably 2 out of the 3 threat-related masks we've had so far in this series. For whatever reason, I end up being the one who hogs all of them.
No, it's fine because we all got to answer the question anyway. So I feel that is fine. It was just the one where you would all hog them and answer all the questions. I would say, but sure, I just like answering the questions. Take the success, I think, before you go into with that, especially with that, go into a confrontation with that threat, with that condition mark. I think it's not a good idea.
That might come back to bite me almost literally. So, all right, we'll mark the Mask of Beauty, and we'll bump that up to a 7 to 9.
Awesome. So yeah, you will now get to clear one of your conditions, and you will also get to choose one other option from that list.
I'll clear the tipsy condition because I feel like that probably is just about expired anyhow.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, that definitely felt like a sobering conversation.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, perfect. Yeah, sorry, and what option are you going to choose from the list? I think you get, yeah, you do get to choose one still on a 7 to 9.
Well, I'm almost inclined to say we'll pick up a clue here if we want to just go really hard into getting clues for Sally here going into the night phase. I mean, we can maybe get this thing done coming up here in the next night phase if we roll lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can definitely come up with a clue here. So yeah, no. You can decide what you want that clue to be. I can give you a minute to do that while we do the Mask of Beauty, if you would like. And I will just refresh my memory on what the Mask of Beauty is. Yeah, and I think the Mask of Beauty is each hunter narrates a flashback to a time when they felt truly beautiful. Yeah, Dr. Fenworth, I'll ask you first if that's okay.
Yeah, let me think. But I think this is way past, right? When he was younger, maybe a high school kind of student. I don't know what that's called in England. Do you have high schools? Is that the same thing?
Broadly speaking, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, back in the Victorian time, it's a bit weird anyway with the naming of schools. But yeah, no, that's
okay. So basically, when he was about 17 or 18, and he was at school, I think, and yeah, it's kind of odd because it's clear that he has changed schools for this part of his life. Maybe the family moved or something had happened, who knows. Anyway, he had changed schools and he's standing around looking a little lost, like you do when you're new, but also trying to totally give off the vibe that he is not lost at all and that he's very self-assured. And that's when one of the other students comes up. It's a guy, a young man, same age about as John, and he comes over and he says something like, well, I noticed you there You must be new. I want to meet you. You look very interesting. And I think that look in this person's eyes, this young man's eyes, is not, you're very interesting. It's more like, oh my God, I'm so into you. I'm totally struck with you. And that's oddly when John kind of felt like, this guy likes me for how I look. How odd. What an odd concept. And that kind of, I mean, he has had that afterwards, but I think that's the first time that he got that, and he smiles, and of course he looks better. Almost everybody looks better when they smile, right? So yeah, and the other person says, well, look at the sun going up there. It's like fireworks. And well, yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, and Trixie, how about yourself? Would you like to narrate a flashback to a time when you felt truly beautiful?
Well, it wasn't that long ago, back when we were out west, that myself and one of my companions decided to take a night ride on horseback away from our camp, traveling in between towns. Well, we get a certain distance out and we come upon ourselves a pack of wolves out on the prairie that start coming after us. Well, it's kind of a out of the fry pan and into the fire kind of thing, because my companion fires off a rifle shot. Good news is the wolves get scared away. Bad news is it startles a herd of bison, and now we're stuck in the middle of a stampede. Wasn't much longer after that, I find myself knocked off my horse in the mud, got an antler gored into my shoulder, and probably have some kind of ligament or something like that torn in my lower right foot. But as I stumble back to my horse, realizing that I've only just narrowly survived a brush with certain death at the hands of a 1-ton animal, well, it's a time in which I actually feel alive, and I don't feel any particular desire or necessity to have this veneer of civility or education or anything except my genuine, authentic self put on. And that's, well, one of the first and only times in my life I've really ever felt that way was when I was there covered in mud and blood.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah. So have you decided upon on a clue that you would like to come across or figure out or the like?
If it's not too on the nose, might the clue just be that Margaret Teasdale has a really strange interest in people's facial features?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
Cool, that works for me.
Excellent. Awesome. So I think what we'll do is we will check in with Dr. Fenworth at the morgue. There'll be a bit of, if the two of you want to have a vulnerable scene together as in the aftermath of that, that's fine. We can do that. We can look towards answering that question as well if you want, and then that's probably where we'll leave things for this evening. But yeah, so yeah, Dr. Fenworth. Like I said, I'm not going to make you make any rolls for this. If you can kind of select a body part if you would like.
Yeah, I think I'm going for, I guess I'm going for the guts, because that is, as I said, it's, how are you really picky about guts? Come on. Although I maybe take the feet first, because the guts are even less durable than something like feet,
Fair,
right?
fair.
Makes. So yeah, I'm looking at feet. John, I feel John is not very interested in feet per se, so it's more like eeny meeny miny. No, oh gosh. Anyway, yeah, he'll find someone who hasn't walked a lot, maybe, because calluses. No, this child can't have too many calluses. It's not how he envisions that.
Excellent. So yeah, if you would like to narrate a brief scene involving Adam's feet, I guess.
Well, as I said, John has never seen Adam's feet, but he has obviously seen it. Not the feet without shoes, but he has seen Adam dance. Of course, he's an opera singer, and sometimes they have to dance there. He's not a ballet dancer or anything, but sometimes you have to pretend it's a ball or something, and that is actually exactly. Yeah, it's one of these operas where they pretend that they are from a very exotic country. It's probably rather problematic by today's standards. And they are wearing totally exotic costumes, and he has to do this kind of sort of stomping dance, which sounds like, it wouldn't be very graceful, but oddly enough, it is. It is, because something about Adam just makes it on the stage. On the stage, he's just grace incarnate. Every step, even if it's heavy, it's a drum beat. It's the drum beat of a heart. It's not just a stomping. It's the heartbeat of the earth, almost, to John at least. So yeah, I think he will find some shoes, not here, obviously, but he needs to find some shoes for this child. That is very important now, because the feet aren't important, the shoes are.
Awesome. Thank you very much. As I said, I was checking. Did if the two of you want to have a vulnerable scene, now would be certainly an opportunity to do so. But don't feel under any pressure to if it doesn't feel like the right moment. And otherwise, if you want to posit a solution to. Or we can, again, if you want to leave that till next time, that's also fine. But I thought we've got the time to do it if that's something we want to do now.
I'm happy to, if that works for you.
Yeah, I don't think I can get rid of my riddle by guilt right now, because
Fair.
Doesn't seem very appropriate. But answering a question, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
If
sure.
that was what you were going for, David,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the nose blind condition. I mean, I've got one condition on the books right now, so it's not like I'm in a real rush to get rid of it. I can probably wait until tomorrow to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Caseberry has 3 conditions, and we might do something there. But right now, for this day, let's just do maybe. But if we answer the question now, do we still know next time what we did? I don't know.
I'm okay with answering the question here. Or did you say that you'd rather wait until next time?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm fine with both. I think I might. Yeah. Sorry. Which question do we want to answer? Because I think we got enough for the last one.
I keep thinking that it was it the last one, or because I know that you had a particular kind of personal interest in this particular threat. What was it, the last one that you wanted to try to aim for?
I think that would be most interesting to John, at least, to talk to this person and maybe find another way for them to get what they need, because maybe it doesn't need to be living people's faces, right?
Okay.
So
yeah,
that might be and because John feels this odd connection with that person, it would ease his heart, I think, if we could find a less violent solution with that person. But we'd need to answer the question. That would be, what is the true identity of the killer and what drove them to this madness? So I have a few ideas.
I say go for it. I'm at a little bit of a loss here, other than maybe Teasdale or someone, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have to roll in some stuff. And I think, okay, my theory here is that Mrs. Teasdale is indeed the killer, but she's not doing that for herself. She's doing it for the child that lives with her, that calls her employer. But I think there's more to that, because I think the main clue is the name Victoria Callas, because that's not Mrs. Teasdale's name. It's somebody's name. It's probably the name of the person who's in love with this Gregory character, right?
That tracks so far.
Yeah, so I think that dapper little boy is maybe their child, and yeah, okay. So it's a bit unclear why Mrs. Teasdale has such an interest in helping him, but since we have no clues that contradict the whole thing, I think maybe. Okay, house in upmarket area. That might have been something where Victoria lived. Maybe Victoria's still alive and she's the one who needs the faces.
I quite like that.
The name Victoria Callas did specifically come up as being the maid referred to them as being the previous resident of that house. So
that she still could be she still could be there, right?
Yeah.
So so she could be the one that Margaret is getting the faces for.
That works for me. Do we have to have an answer to the what drove them to this madness?
Yeah, I mean, okay, why would Victoria Callas need those faces, right? I don't think we have clear clues for that. It could be just that Victoria is, well, I imagine maybe Victoria herself was either not very good looking, or maybe she was kind of, something about her face was marred by chance or an accident or whatever, and maybe that's why she was so florid within her letters to Gregory, which clearly were never sent, right? They're still there, so she had a reason not to send them. So maybe that's why she needs a better face to give herself some sort of confidence.
That is delightfully Victorian Gothic. I think she's going about wearing other people's faces about, or something morbid like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why the obsession with perfection in faces, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Has to be perfect.
So that would be the next box, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the flecks of blood in otherwise pristine place, that's clearly because that's where the faces have been taken off. Yeah. We need to tie Victoria and Margaret Teasdale together, because I think it's not Victoria herself who does the murdering, it's Margaret. Because maybe she is kind of, she just wants Victoria to see herself as beautiful, so that she might get over her affection for this Gregory character and see who's really helping her there.
I imagine that the expensive cosmetics and perfume could be folded into that, because it's sort of, you want to make yourself up to be as seemingly beautiful as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we have the oleander poisoning, which kind of points to a person who is not that aggressive, right? And can get close to people so as to poison them. And that speaks to Margaret again, because she's a socialite. She can poison anyone she likes. Well, not anyone she likes, but I feel that this needs the poisoning that has to be done by someone who has a kind of access to people's drinks or something, and B, wouldn't be averse to poisoning people.
Right. The meaning being, well, the one takeaway at least being that, the poisoning is a method of murder.
Yeah. I mean, the person whose face was taken was not alive, or not very much alive when that happened, because of the poisoning.
So what do you make of the smudge of rouge then?
On Clara's collar. Maybe two possibility would be that somebody put rouge on her, because she was a washerwoman, she wouldn't have rouge on her. So just to make that face more beautiful, to make it more perfect.
I think that goes along with the cosmetics. I think we have this big emphasis on beauty. And I mean, for heaven's sake, maybe that chest is where the rouge came from. It wouldn't shock me if we went in there and found a half empty container of rouge and it matched. I mean, not that we can do that level of forensics, but wouldn't surprise me is all I'm saying.
Okay. So I think that's our theory, right?
That works for me.
Okay. Then I'll go and roll for it maybe with +1.
Yeah, +1.
Sure thing.
Ooh. Okay, there we go. Ooh, it's a 10.
10.
It's a 10. Yeah.
Perfect. You are indeed correct.
We are.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you have discovered that Margaret Teasdale is the Sally No-Face killer. Killing her victims for her daughter, ward, Victoria Callis. Anyway, maybe we'll explore that.
Godchild or something.
Yeah. We can explore that perhaps in more detail next time. And yeah, awesome. And I think just as we as the sun is beginning to set, as we are approaching our dusk phase, there will be a ring at the doorbell, and stood on the front doorstep will be the dapper boy with a very formal envelope in hand. He will say, Dr. Fenworth, my employer was very pleased to receive the kind words you left for them. They wish to extend to you an invitation to a small event they are holding. Your presence would be most welcome. And he will hand over the envelope.
Okay, I will open it and look at the invitation and tell him, yeah, sure.
It matches the invitation that Trixie was given earlier.
So one of us has to bring Ardent as +1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, and that's where we will leave things for this evening. Thank you very much, everyone. That was a good fun session, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes next time. But yeah, I will stop our recording now.